The story of a woman who claimed she visited Mars and spoke to aliens in 1849. Yes, 1849. The results suggest that certain mediums can anonymously receive accurate information about deceased individuals. This is a study published by PubMed and concludes. The study designed effectively eliminates conventional mechanisms as well as telepathy as explanations for the information reception, but the results cannot distinguish among alternative paranormal hypotheses such as survival of consciousness, the continued existence separate from the body of an individual's consciousness or personality after physical death, and super psi or super ESP, retrieval information via a psychic channel or quantum field. And we can read the study in the link here. Now, over decades, or even over thousands of years, intellectuals have been interested in those who claim or are seen by others to have supernormal type of abilities which cannot really be explained by our current knowledge of science. And that being said, just because we can't explain it doesn't mean it's not real. And studies like the ones above showed multiple times that there are people on the planet who can do some extraordinary things that completely defy belief, logic, and reason. It's often why we see such a harsh response to it, because it contradicts and conflicts with most people's ideas of what can and cannot be achieved. It's something that's been claimed to be done for thousands of years, be it through oracles of the past, yogis with superhuman abilities that are described in ancient Eastern texts, or modern-day mediums. It seems something is going on here, which is evident by the amount of research put into it and how many intellectuals and scholars, quote-unquote, continue to study it and vouch for its validity. There is usually, however, a response that this type of thing is a result of complete delusion. And we can find a few more studies on the subject here in the link. Now, the woman who visited Mars, Helene Smith, was a 19th century French medium. She's noted for popularizing the concept of automatic writing, that is, writing down information while in a trance-like state, doing so in a type of unconscious manner. In the 1950s and 60s, all the way up to the present day, the field of ufology is filled with supposed off-world contactees who usually receive their information in similar ways, and these people are quite popular and received a lot of serious attention many decades ago, and some of what they said sharply correlates with what's been happening today. In 1954, an ordinary citizen by the name of George King was also one of the many who was and had been contacted by extraterrestrial intelligence. This was from Mars as well, and supposedly part of an alliance of several intelligences from other planets. Now, if you think this is impossible given what we know about those planets, it turns out we don't know as much as we thought we did. For example, Mars is not the dry, arid planet we once thought it to be. NASA scientists recently held a press conference revealing some astonishing facts about extraterrestrial life on Mars. And there's an article published about 3 NASA scientists discussing extraterrestrial life on Mars, hinting that some strange things are going on there right now. And the other articles, one that goes into detail about extraterrestrial life on or around the rings of Saturn. He also made some comments about how these extraterrestrial alliances were concerned about our nuclear weapons. Decades later, we have documents and confirmed testimony from high-ranking intelligence people and actual events that have occurred at military bases. And to see the interview with him and read more about the story, follow the link here. And if you want to learn about UFO extraterrestrial encounters over nuclear facilities, there's more links to that as well. Now, as for Helene, her contact's name was Leopold, and she became popular when a professor of psychology at the University of Geneva, Theodore Flournoy, published a book titled Des Indes de la Planète Mars. The book documents her experiences. Multiple linguists were also brought in to translate the words that were channeled through her. and they seem to be a mix of multitude of languages and not the easiest to understand. She used to write out supposed Martian speech onto paper and then translate it into French when she was in her trance-like state. And it featured her paintings of Martian landscapes and documented her experiences on Mars, quote-unquote, of humanoid-type beings, and certain social ways of greeting each other, their homes, etc. Now, if you read the article linked above about Mars and what modern-day credible people have to say about what's going on up there, it's interesting to think about and say the least. And another interesting case regarding a supposed past life from Mars, the article goes into more detail. This is just one of her several drawings that Helen made regarding her visions of Mars. Now, personally, I like to look into topics with skepticism, and the more research I've done about Mars, contactees and channelers, it's not uncommon to find multiple consistencies that come through in the form of channeling and automatic writing. I'll have you this quote to give something to think about. I'll leave this quote. Now, how do I feel about secrecy in government? Secrecy in government is an evil which is sometimes necessary, but I think it's a good thing that this cover-up on Mars is ending, and hopefully at some point we can have a frank conversation, not about what happened on Mars 250 million years ago, but what is happening right now, end quote. This is what John Brandenburg, deputy manager of the Clementine mission to the moon, spoken at the Secret Space Program Conference. And you can watch the lecture in the link here below. And then there's the characters of the letters and communications that she was translating into French, from A, B, C, and all the way to X, Y, Z. And she claims that this is the Martian alphabet, summary of signs. Never has been given as such by Mr. and Mademoiselle Smith. This is all from Collective Evolution, and it's on Humans Are Free Creative Commons here by Alexander Light. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.